Look at that. Right on his noggin.
Here I is.
Right on his noggin.
Here I is.
What's going on, y'all, man? No pressure, no diamonds, man. We back once again. Episode, I don't know.
Yeah. Who's counting?
Who's counting, man? Who's counting when we having fun? Having fun getting it in, man. What's going on, Thomas? What's going on, brother?
You know, another beautiful day, bro. Just chilling, sipping on. You guys probably want to know what are in these cups, huh? You got to come and check us out.
Come and see.
Yeah, no, man. Life is good. Life's beautiful. Family's good. Friendships are good, man, and getting stronger. Business is good. We're off to a great start this year, and things. I don't know, man. No room to complain about anything.
Man, brother. Yeah. Well, I was sending a couple of. I'll text you just a couple of things we was gonna talk about, man. Like, I was listening to what was it? I think it was Eric Thomas or something like that.
E.T.
Yeah, man. You can't go wrong with E.T. Man. Plug for E.T. to pop on the podcast one good time.
Yeah, right.
You know, if you want to pop on real quick, man, we let it have you. But you know, he was talking about what was it? Contract versus covenant. You know, and hopefully I don't mess this up, man. I wish I probably listened to right before I talked to you just now, but
probably should have. Like, you don't have to define covenant.
But no, I was like, you know, contract is like, okay, well, it's almost like you're, you know, if this don't go right and this don't go right, then you know, then the contract's off. Like, you know, dang, I probably should have listened to it, bro. I'm gonna play a piece of it. But a covenant is more like no matter what happens. You know what I'm saying? Like some people, you know,
deeper commitment,
man. And you know, people, you can kind of use it in the sense of like a marriage. You know what I'm saying? And you know, a lot of people nowadays, man, treat marriage like a contract.
Yeah.
You know, with instead of a a covenant. Like no matter, you know. Like we working on this. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
Like there's no like once we've made this, like once we've committed to this, there's no going back. You know, like we just gotta kind of grow through these things. And same thing in business or saying, you know, you can really take that anywhere. But you know, that's what it really made me think of, man. I really wish I would have listened to that again. But I'm gonna play a piece. Hopefully I can play a piece of it on here. You know, to where y'all can listen to that and come up with your own thoughts, man. But what do you kind of think about that, man? Like, as you know, just the level of commitment nowadays, man. People toe dipping out here.
Yeah. Well, 100%. And I think you brought up something that I think whether you're married to or not, you can relate to. You know, as far as the commitment or lack thereof when it comes to specifically that the marriage. And you know, I don't know. I mean, I can speculate, I guess, on, you know, what happens and why it doesn't work. Maybe you got married young and, you know, whatever. But I think it's really a lack of holding that commitment or commitment to anything. Like if you're able to just dip out or turn your back or switch sides or, you know what I mean? There's just a lack of commitment to the sacredness of, and again, in this case specifically, the marriage, right? For me, like it took a long time. So if my wife was here, you know, and she'd tell you about the first 7 years of our relationship, it didn't feel like there was a commitment. Although internally, I knew that I wasn't going anywhere. We had bought a home and this and that, right? She was pregnant with our first son, but, man, I'm going to be pretty transparent right now. To me, up until that point, it was always just like I didn't understand it. It was a piece of paper to me. And I think really what it was, dude, if I'm going to be even more honest, was I think there was a fear there because I didn't want to ruin what we had. To me, like it felt so good what we had and where we were going as a couple. There was a fear because of the lack of commitment, right? Because so many people end up in divorce, right? Like it's over 50% now, but I know at one point it was like 50% of all marriages end in divorce. And I'm like, that's a staggering statistic. Like, and that's like in like, you know, closest times within the last 20 years, you know, those divorce rates and stuff have gone up, maybe longer than that. Don't quote me, but mean, you didn't see that in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. You seen like, you know, grandma and grandpa celebrating their 62nd wedding anniversary, you
Yeah.
know, and it was through thick and thin and through till death do us part and stuff. And I'm not getting, you know, religious, and I'm not judging. There's obviously circumstances in relationships where maybe it's better to get out, but for me, just growing up and hearing those numbers or realizing or having a bunch of friends that, you know, came from broken homes or whatever, I had a fear that like if I got married that it would inevitably end bad. And you know, and then I really went inside myself and I decided like, is this something that no matter what I'm willing to work at? And so the decision had to come internally that like no matter what, I was sticking
Mm,
this thing out, you know, and we were
mm,
going to figure it out. We were going to make it work. Now, on top of that, obviously I had to make a decision to like limit the mistakes that I would make, or mistakes that people generally make that, you
yeah.
know, jeopardize their relationship. But when I think of covenant, man, I think like you said, it's almost like it's written in blood, you know, like
Hmm.
dude, you got to do that, you know. And that's why some of my favorite athletes, bro, and we're just coming off the Super Bowl, right? Tom Brady, the GOAT, just pulled it off. But
Man.
and but some of my favorite athletes started and ended their career with one team. Like I hold Michael Jordan and Kobe Bryant and like Tim Duncan in such high regards, at least in
Hmm.
the basketball world, because you don't see that too much anymore, and I don't know if we'll ever see that again, dude. You know what I mean? Like uh, players are bouncing, and the way these contracts are being thrown around, I ain't mad at them, dude. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? Go get your paper, but I don't know. You just don't see that anymore. So I like the longevity, man, and you know, staying locked in and committed until it's over.
Till it's over, man. And I could totally man, I totally agree with that, man. Especially, man, I didn't get a chance to see a whole lot of Michael Jordan besides his Wizards days, but I don't even count that Wizards
Oh
days, man. I
man,
don't even
hey,
count the
Alex just
Wizards,
called me old. I watched Jordan's whole career, so you can so just so you know, there's a different time difference, right?
oh
Age gap,
man,
a little bit of an age gap.
man, dude, but yeah, man, MJ, bro, he had that, he had that juice, boy. MJ had that juice. He was that, well, at least for, you know, for the last couple of generations, man. His legacy bleeds on, and then Kobe, of course, but that's who I seen pretty much everything, man. I seen the '81, I seen the, you know, from start to finish, and there
Yeah.
was, but the thing was, man, there's always gonna be those. There's gonna be times where people backslide, and you know they might be thinking, man, this might be better for me to get up out the situation, go see something else, go do something, you know. But when you go in with the no matter what at the beginning, you got to revisit. You know, you got to remember what, like, why am I doing this though?
Mm-hmm.
Why? How come? You know, and go with that, man, and trust your um, you know, not base it off the emotion at the moment.
Right. Well, you know, and I know you've heard this, but what you just said kind of made me think of something that I heard one of our mentors say, and I'm sure I've heard other people have said it, but Papa Cap, you know, I've always heard from him originally. I heard this statement, and he said, "Never make a decision when you're down."
Mm-hmm.
And man, like that resonates with me so much because normally when you do make a decision when you're down, whether that's angry or sad or whatever, when you're just at a low point, coming out of it, you look back and at least for me personally, there's always this feeling of regret. Like, dang, like I could have done something a little bit different, or I wish I wouldn't have, you know, actually said that, or I wouldn't have done this and stuff. And so that's true in business as well, right? Like people get started in business, and it's so funny to me that you know, they have these big dreams and big goals, which you absolutely should have, but there's this expectation that it's going to happen in like 3 months or a
Mm-hmm.
year or even 5 years, right? And when it doesn't, they quit. Like, you know what I mean? They say this just doesn't work. And isn't it crazy that like you still have more opportunity after 5 years by doing your own thing and sticking to the game plan than you have an opportunity to accomplish those dreams as an employee somewhere.
Man.
Like people work 40 years for what? To end up with like 40% of their pay, and
Well,
after
shoot, even
40
with
hours
just
a week.
yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. But that's the American what do they call it, the that American dream, you
Yeah.
know? But is it though?
I don't know if it's the dream, but I
Is
guess
it?
it's the kind of the standard that was laid out, man. I'll tell you an interesting thing. When I first got started, doing what we're doing, in business, I was talking to my mom, and well, actually, first of all, she was like, "You better be careful," and da 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 da. Like, you know what I mean? You have a family, and all of this stuff, which I get, and I'm not mocking my mom. Like, I appreciate the
Yeah.
love and concern that she had there, right? But I was started off part time doing this, working full time and
Yeah.
stuff. And when I finally made the transition to go full time, and my mom was again a whole another level of concern, and I said, "Mom, I'm just not." And no offense to anybody that's in the corporate setting, but I am just not willing to do the corporate thing. And I said something to the effect, and I'm not going to repeat the word because it's inappropriate, but I said like, "Forget corporate America," and she gave me the most crazy bug-eyed look, like, like, what did you say? And times are different, bro.
Yeah,
Like, let's
it's a
just be
whole
real. There's
yeah.
no such thing as commitment from your employer, you know what I
Mm-mm.
mean, to make sure that you're taken care of. Like, you know, you die today and tomorrow your position's filled. You know what I mean? Like, you're that replaceable. So that loyalty and commitment to a company or a job, just they're not giving it to you. So in my opinion, like, why give it to them? Like, you know.
You know, and that's and gone are and really, man, there's really not that many places right now where you're gonna be spending like what's the average somebody even keeps a job?
I think like 7 years right now. The last I read, like every 5 to 7 years, people are leaving a job for, I don't know, maybe what breaks down to another dollar an hour. You know,
Yo, man, and right now, like there's
maybe a couple bucks. I don't know, but I know for a dollar, I've had friends that have left jobs, and I'm like, bro, you were there for a minute. Like, what made you leave? They're like, oh, they're gonna pay me a little bit more over here. I'm like, how much? They're like, oh, well, I was at 20. They're gonna pay me 21 or 22. I'm like, I don't know. I'm gonna commute an extra 20 minutes. It's a little bit farther, but they're gonna give me like $2 more.
nah, man, yeah, it's a that's crazy, man. And but I used to think the same way though.
Yeah.
To a certain, I was like, oh well, shoot, well, I can make this much more. That means I can get this. That means I can get that. You know, I might be able to. But then when it all shakes down, you don't even see it.
Right.
You know, like you really don't even see it.
Right.
And one of the especially the main things right now that I think is, especially over this whole COVID thing, the COVID situation, whatever pandemic, people have become a lot more resourceful. So one of the things is over this time, if you've utilized this time properly, in my opinion, you have a lot more time to focus in on like what you're, if COVID hit you over the head, then guess what? You had a good amount of time to see like, well, what are my actual strengths? What am I actually good at? Like what am I good at? Like how can I provide value to the marketplace and write my own check for myself? You might
Right.
have a job, you know what I'm saying? So you might have kept your job, you might be working from home or whatever the case is, but if you took this time as it was more of a time off type of thing or more convenient now that you're working at home, then I think some folks might have missed a great area of opportunity
Yep.
for themselves.
Yeah.
To learn something different, I would think, or to like pick up a new skill or realize the skills they do have to provide value, and now they can create a space in the marketplace for themselves to bring in extra income. And I think right now there's so many more new millionaires and new billionaires right now. It's so easy to make $1 million now.
Yeah.
So easy to make $1 million. First of all, because there's so much information that's free out there. Secondly, is man, there's so many ways to have income,
Yeah.
right? So many ways where you don't have to physically. I mean, if you're trying to make an extra $1,000 to drive Uber or whatever the case is, all right, cool. All right, that's kind of self-employed, whatever. But whether it's online, it's e-commerce or business, or people are making so much money from home, dude. It's crazy, man. Like,
Yep.
we got, um, to learn a new. Hopefully, people took some time out to learn a little bit about themselves and go out there and focus on kind of learning something different, man. Learn something different and go out there and establish. I just kicked the heck out of this table. Learn something new, man. And
Yeah, and I wanted to clarify too. Like, if you work and you have a job, please don't think that I'm bashing that or there's a judgment or anything like that.
he is.
Like,
Don't worry about it.
no, I'm definitely not. No, it's like one of the most noble things to do is to go out and work and clock in and earn an income and take care of yourself and your family and provide. Like, I respect that. I wholeheartedly do. I come from a family of just hardworking blue collar people, and so there's absolutely no judgment, man. But the point that I was trying to make is that you can live a comfortable life, having a job or maybe even being self-employed, but we only have one life to live, and this was the realization that I came to for myself. Like, this is the only chance I get, and I want more than just the norm, right? Like, whatever that is for you. In my family, it was a decent sized home, yeah, middle class, maybe upper middle class now, since there's three kind of categories to that. There's the middle class, there's the upper, and then there's the lower, right? We were probably somewhere in the middle and maybe closer to the top, but and we never went without, but everything was just kind of comfortable. There wasn't a lot of extra. There wasn't travel around the world or anything like that. There was amusement parks and that type of stuff, maybe camping, but man, I don't know. And there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, I wanted more. I wanted to take advantage of this stuff. And so I found that the only way to be able to do that was to figure out a way, like you said, to supplement some income. And, you made a great point, dude. Like, really, COVID, I think, in my opinion, brought to the surface that realization in the right people that, like, look, man, job security is an oxymoron. There's no such thing as that, right?
That part.
Dude, like it just is. I have a lot of friends that are in like the medical field, and some of them at the beginning of a global pandemic, this deadly virus that the world has ever seen, however it was being described. And I have friends that are nurses and doctors that were getting furloughed. And I'm like, wait a minute, if the one industry that you shouldn't be, furloughed or being laid off or hours being cut is the medical industry during a global pandemic, but that's exactly what was happening. And a lot of those people had kind of the same realization, like, man, there's really no job security. You have little to no control there. And so the right people did what you suggested and went inside and said, hey, what are some of my talents? What are some of my gifts? Or what is that one thing that I've always wanted to do if I was ever to have the time? And then COVID created that time and that opportunity. And again, the right people realized that, man, there's information is abundant, like you mentioned, and there's literally nothing that you can't monetize.
Man, right now, dog, it's crazy out here, man. Like, it's a trip, man. I was just talking to somebody who was just at lunch with somebody, and they've never had a job their entire life. Never had a job, never since they were 16 years old. They just never. They have no concept. I mean, they understand people have jobs,
Right?
but they hire people. Like, now they businesses and all these different things. Like, they hire people and stuff like that. They've been that way since they were 18. They're like, I just can't they cannot wrap their mind around somebody else like paying them for like an hourly thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I was talking to him, and he was like, he's talking about, well, everybody has a different situation, but like where they're at now is like, okay, the first month of the year they focus on paying their expenses for the rest of the year. They work on generating enough to, all right, their home expense, like they already know what their home expenses are. So the first month, like, hey, this is what we're doing. Hey, make sure we got enough for the rest of the year. So then the other 11 months, or the other part of the year, they're working on our projects, building business. Like, still don't have to think about the home part. They had to sell that first month of the year. They like get the home out the way, and then for the rest of the year, they're focused on developing business, having business ideas, and all these different things going. To have all these companies executing. So the rest of the year is on execution, right? And I was just like, that's an interesting place, a mind frame to think.
Mm-hmm.
Is they're focused on, okay, how can I have more income streams? Where can I put some? Like, they're not taking their house money and going and putting it on something else. They're like, okay, I take this business deal, it goes to here. This business deal funds this business deal. This one funds that. So they're never, it was just very interesting for me, just having that conversation with him.
Right.
This he thinks a whole different way. His thinking is, okay, well, I got to pay these people. Okay, we got to hire these folks for this, hire these folks for that. Okay, this this thing is going to take this amount of funds to generate. On the back end, we're going to get paid this. He's thinking of a whole different mind state.
Yeah. I was going to say that's a wealth mindset, right?
Yeah,
so,
man.
dude, I've been sitting with a couple of clients over the last couple of weeks, and 100% of them are like, man, I don't see that. I don't see that money left over, or I don't know where it goes. Like, where does it go and stuff, right? And they're trying to find these holes. And, what I realized was, like, the wealthy don't have that problem. The wealthy are telling their money what to do.
Yeah.
And everybody else is like, they're telling their money where to go. There's the wealthy mindset. Wealthy tell their money where to go, and everybody else, the middle class, wonders where their money went. Right? So the wealthy tell their money where to go, while everybody else wonders where their money went.
And it probably went into the hands of a wealthy person.
Exactly. It went back to the CEO at Starbucks or Coffee Bean or wherever else you frequently visit.
Man. Right? It's Starbucks.
It's bananas, bro. And and for me, it was eye opening, and I was like, man, I can actually even personally do a little bit of a better job at some of that stuff. But dictating, your cash flow, and that's true across the board, man. If you're in business, you need to tell yourself where to go. You need to dictate your hours. You need to schedule all of that stuff, and basically plan. Like, the 1% of the 1%. Those are the things that they're good at. They're maniacal about their habits and their rituals and stuff. Which, again, I'm a work in progress in that area. So I'm talking to myself right now.
You,
right?
Oh, Jesus. Oh my goodness, man. Habits is everything, man. And everybody has habits, right? But do those habits serve whatever your purpose or your mission is, or what you're trying to get done? And if you're not trying to get anything necessarily done, then your habits generally reflect that. So what you're doing on a daily basis reflect that. If you're focused on doing, if you have certain goals or certain focuses or what have you, then try and put as many habits in place and replace some not so great habits, man, with positive things that can get you there. Like, I think one of the things been doing recently is just being accountable for the actions that you're taking daily. And if you account for, if you be and accountability isn't for the people, if you have people that you're being accountable with, or that you have a group or somebody is coaching you with that, it's not for them. The accountability stuff is not for them. It's for you. It's for you to see where you're at, and you can kind of put together, like, okay, what happened these last 2 weeks and what didn't happen these last 2 weeks. And if you go back and see, like, based on whatever statistics that you're accountable to or accountable with, you could see that, okay, well, my activities reflect exactly why I'm not where I'm supposed to be or where I want to be at. And there's nothing like the mirror of somebody that's getting started in business to see yourself. You know what I mean? Like, business is that's a big mirror to put in front of yourself.
Yeah, it's revealing.
I mean? Oh my goodness, dude.
It is revealing. And I was going to say the same thing when you said, hey, be accountable to the actions that you're taking. And I think most people, if they're doing the right stuff, and again, this is me most of the time, especially when it comes to my wife. But
Thomas, you be talking to me too, dog. I mean, you talk, you saying it's you, but my man, I think you're talking.
But check this out.
Dog.
Like, it's so easy to do, right? Like, hey, I actually did this, and that today. And people they're more than willing to be accountable when they're doing what they need to be done, what needs to be done, what they know needs to be done. But I think a better way of saying, hey, accountability is you need to be accountable to what you didn't do. Like, not the stuff that got done, but what you didn't do. That's the revealing part and stuff, which you kind of mentioned. So I'm not gonna dive in on that. But it's easy to report the good stuff.
Yeah.
It's hard to be not vulnerable, because I feel like that word's kind of played out, but it's hard to just be real, dude. Like, let's just be honest. Like, you know what? Yesterday I was lazy, and I had a plan of making like 35 calls, and I think I made like 2.5. Yeah, like, and I said
It started ringing and I hung up.
Yeah, dude. And I was like, I don't even feel like doing this right now, dude. And that's just like, you'll have some of those days. Um, I don't beat myself up over it, but
Yeah.
if my wife watches this, she might throat punch me. She's like, "What the heck are you
We're
doing?"
sending it to her right after the. we're sending it to her right after the call. You know what I'm saying? We're sending it to her right after we have a live audience of one that's gonna be sending this conversation right to her.
It's probably already recorded over here. CIA Tina.
Oh man, dog. Yeah, dog. For what you don't do. You know what I mean? And that's important, man. Like the days you don't do anything, you better go ahead and put that out there. Didn't do that. Didn't do this, didn't do that. But today I guarantee you, next day will be better.
Yeah. Well, you know what I do too, dude, is and hopefully this will help some people, but when I don't do what I know needs to be done or what I had planned on doing, you know what I do, bro, is I give myself grace. And that is not a good thing. Like, I'll come up with reasons on why that didn't happen, and I tend to like end up doing busy stuff, right? Like, so I think I might have talked about this once, but my wife, let's say she'll come home from running errands or whatever, and she's like, "Hey, did you do this? And did you do that? And did you follow up with that person? And did you put that appointment in, or whatever it is?" And I'm like, no, but I wiped up the counter, and I kind of swept the floor, and I moved the furniture on the patio, and I washed some of the dishes. I did a few push-ups and got a little workout in, and I like run through all of this stuff.
Eyes burning through you as you say.
Yeah, that. Dude, and she's just looking at me like that has nothing to do with what needed to be done. Like, and but you get caught up in the busy work, right? Like, don't get caught up in the busy stuff, man. Like, check off that checklist,
man, dude.
And again, I'm speaking to myself, but
it's like, are we busy or are we productive, right? It's like,
perfect.
You know what I'm saying? Like, are we being busy or are we being productive? Like, at the end of the day, it's like at the end of the day, you feel tired and wore out. You know what I'm saying? And then it's like, what really did I actually get done though? Like, for real.
Yep.
Like, I have these whatevers you're trying to do, but was I really productive today? And that's up for you to decide for yourself. So it's whatever you're doing, it's whatever your focus is, but think about that at the end of the day, or at the beginning of the day, really think about like, hey, man, what do I need to do to be productive? By end of today, what I need to have done so I can have been productive.
Right.
Okay. And then maybe at the middle of the day, have a checkup, maybe a mental checkup or a checkup on what you got to do.
Mm-hmm.
That'll probably help. And then at the end of the day, you can reflect, what did I do? Did I get some busy work done? All right, whatever. But did I get some productive activities? What did I do to move my life or business, or since we're talking about business forward today?
Right.
And if you checked off a couple of things, guess what? You moved your business forward. You might not have got everything done. There's no way you're going to get everything done.
Right.
But did you check off something? Or did you really just miss everything today?
Yeah.
Like,
did you move the needle? Yeah.
Did we move the needle, Doc? And I've been realizing that, man. Like, I'm realizing, just got to move it forward a little bit. There will be days where where you can always have a productive day. That's the one thing. There might be setbacks in other areas of the day.
Sure.
But you can always have something that's productive be done by the end of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's, learning something, whether it's learning something, better yet, doing something, doing some work, getting some actual things done, attempting, but really just kind of letting it all go, man. And that's got to be what what drives you. I think when people have a hard time getting up to do things, it's like, okay, why are you doing it, and what drives you? Like, what gets your motor going?
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes I have a tough time thinking about that. Like, man, what gets me going, dude? Like, what drives me, bro? Like, sometimes anger drives me. Like, if somebody says something, that I don't really necessarily like them saying, like, they challenge me or whatever the case is, or not
Mhm.
challenge, whatever. That might get me going, but that's temporary. It's a temporary, which is okay for that moment, but it's gone tomorrow. Some things just you got to be a little deeper. You got to have some reflection, dude. Like
100%. And then you can adjust and adapt and stuff like that as well,
yeah.
on those things. But I mean, like, think about it again. We're just coming out. Super Bowl Sunday just passed, um, and Tom Brady won his 7th Super Bowl ring.
Yeah,
And
it's
dude,
crazy.
like, most people, right? Most athletes, even, I mean, at the professional level, obviously, like, they're some of the best,
Mm-hmm.
but they're chasing a championship. And if they're fortunate enough to get it, meaning one, like singular, usually the foot comes off the gas. And it's like, all right, mission accomplished. And
Yeah.
now they just go through the motions.
Mm-hmm.
But I heard something that even after 6 Super Bowl titles, or I think at that point it wasn't 6, let's say like after his 5th one, and then I think he missed the following year or something like that. Like he didn't go to the Super Bowl, but they said every year that he didn't actually go to the Super Bowl or make that Super Bowl run, he still showed up. There was no off season for him. He still showed up. He still did the same workouts, and he ran the same drills that he would every week, like he was going to the Super Bowl. So even after their season had ended, he was still at the stadium, still taking the same amount of snaps, still throwing the same amount of balls, still running the same exact drills 100% of the time. And that is the key to success for
Short
all of the great
memory.
ones. Bro, he continued to work his body like he was playing the longest season. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Like, because that's the longest season, dude. You have the playoff run, you have the Super Bowl, right? Like, and then maybe you have a week or two in between time, and then it's back to training camp or whatever. But he played all the way through, where most average, and it's unfair to say because these are like elite athletes, but most of them, they're like, oh,
Yeah.
season ended, man. I'm gonna go take a vacation. I'm gonna chill out.
Party up.
I'm gonna enjoy the family or whatever the case may be. But there was a commitment to not perfection, but to the win, man, to the
Mm-hmm.
goal, and
It's
I
like it's
think
almost
that's
like
what
you put
somebody
it
has
up
to.
on the shelf. It's like, all right, cool, we did that. That's that.
Yeah,
Look, this is a whole new season. This is, that's over with.
right.
We can't win the 5th one again. You know, this is what it is. Like he's
I read that
the
about
beast,
Kobe
dude.
Bryant, bro. Like his first ring, right? Like this dude came into the NBA at, I think he was still 17. He wasn't even 18 yet.
That's
But
so crazy,
isn't it
dog.
isn't it crazy? So, but this was his lifelong goal, was to make it to the NBA and then to win a championship and eventually be in the conversation as one of the
Mm-hmm.
greatest of all time. But he got that first ring, and they asked him like how he celebrated it. He said, "I got it. I opened it up, looked at it, and then I closed the box and put it away." And they're like, "You didn't even enjoy it?" He was like, "Nah, because I wasn't done."
Mm.
Like my focus immediately went back to, let's get 2, and then
Mm.
let's get 3, and then now I got something to prove. But it's the mindset of like a champion. It's a killer instinct. It's a chip on your shoulder. I think it's something like you got something to prove, and whatever that is for you, like, hold on to it, dude. There's nothing wrong with it. I think sometimes I struggle with the fact that, like, I say, well, I'm doing it for my family, and this and that, and I love my family, dog.
Stay
But
on that
go
thought,
ahead.
dog. Stay on that
Oh,
thought,
okay.
cause I got something.
I do it, I'm doing it for my family and this and that, and I want to provide my kids a better life, which I absolutely do, and that's true. But man, that's not always what drives me. Sometimes, what drives me is like people from my past that maybe didn't believe in me, or that has, they talked a little bit of smack or whatever the case is, and I'm like, man, I'm about to blow up, and then I'm gonna show these fools, and maybe there's something wrong with that, like, you know what I mean, from wanting to do it out of spite, but I don't care if it's going to help me get to where I want to be and ultimately benefit my family. Then I'm gonna hone in on that, man, and I'm gonna leverage that. I'm gonna leverage everybody that maybe didn't believe in me. And it took me back. I just had this thought recently, and it's crazy, bro, because it took me back to, like, I used to play baseball. And I was a pretty good pitcher,
Okay.
as a young guy, and the man, I had like a reputation for throwing hard and fast, and we're playing this team, and I think it was a playoff game, and all the parents in the stands on the other team, as soon as I came in, because I'd start at third and then I'd be like the closing pitcher, and I came in, and all these parents in the stands, Alex, bro, they dude, I was probably like 11 years old, so it's not anything just too spectacular, but I was a kid, and all these parents just start woofing, dude, from the stands, like, he can't throw, got a weak arm, and they're like throwing all these chants, we want a pitcher, not a whatever they were saying, dude, like
Yeah.
just talking all this smack, grown adults, right, to me.
Ah, man,
And
sports is cold when it
it
comes
is
to
cold, right?
quarterback.
And they got in my head for like that first batter, dude, and I think I walked them, and it gave them more fire to like go harder. They got louder and stuff, and like I don't know why I did this, but I stopped, dude. And my coach even came out. He was like, "Hey, chill out." I stopped and I looked at all of them in the stands, and I'm like, "Say it louder." Bro, I immediately switched, right? Because I was like, damn, they got in my head. I like threw 4 balls and walked this first batter. Then it got them excited, and I was like, nah, they ain't gonna win this.
Mhm.
I'm like, say it louder, and they started chanting louder, bro. And I literally struck out 9 pitches the next 3 batters. I remember it because it was substantial to me in that moment. It was significant. And I shouldn't say it just in that moment. It's obviously significant to
Yeah,
me
bro,
now,
because it sounded like you was there just now.
bro. I remember it, dude. But it's like it's that switch. And that switch was, man, I'm gonna do this in spite them. Like they're trying to knock me off my pivot. I'm doing it like I'm gonna show them. I'm gonna prove something to them. And so whatever it is, I guess was the point that I'm trying to make. Whatever it is that you need to continue to or to put gas or that helps that fire burn a little bit brighter, hold on to it, dude. Like
Hmm.
there's nothing wrong
And
with it.
stoke it.
There's no right or wrong way to do this thing, man. It's whatever's going to drive you towards that goal. And again, that may change sometimes. It's the end goal is always going to be about ultimately benefiting my wife and my kids, but that's
Seek
not
inspiration.
it's not always the first thing that's on my mind. In some cases, sometimes it is anger. Sometimes it's like the fact that maybe I didn't place, right? Like if I'm going
Hmm.
for the top 10 and I don't hit the top 10 and something, I'm like, I got to blow past these dudes. And
Oh
sometimes it's
yeah,
about like beating somebody else, not right, so.
yeah, but that's huge, bro. Like as we finish up here, man, I know we got to get up out of here, but it was a crazy quote, and I'll touch on it here in a second. It's by Elon Musk, and it was you know, seek inspiration, not encouragement. You know what I'm saying? Things that inspire you to go. Like if you can stoke that flame of inspiration,
Yeah.
encouragement, is cool. It's okay, but that's an external. That's like an external. That's like the temperature outside. You know what
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying? You got to turn the thermostat inside. You got to turn the thermostat up inside so you always have that heat going. And it was I just pulled up a quote by Elon Musk. It was on this app called Clubhouse, and somebody asked a question. So, what words of encouragement would you give to an entrepreneur? And Elon Musk was like, if you need words of encouragement, you don't become an entrepreneur. You know what I'm saying? And the dude,
Oh.
he was like, oh man, buzz his little bubble, whatever. But yo, that's it. But well, Kobe didn't need words of
Mm-mm.
encouragement. Michael Jordan didn't need words of encouragement. They knew like, oh, I'm coming. Like, all right, well, I'm playing this game, and I'm here to be the best me I can be out here. Here to be the best, and I got to beat the best. So I have to outwork. I have to catch up. Cause I'm coming. You got to catch up and then pass up. You know what I'm saying? So your efforts have to relay that. You know what I'm saying? Like they have to coincide with what you want. So you just gotta think, man. Every day you take off is somebody else. If you're selling a product, somebody else is selling your client that product that day. Just so you know,
Mm-hmm.
the day you take off and do that, the day that you don't talk to your teammate or your team or whatever the case is, or your business partners, the days you don't do that might be the day where they're thinking of, why do I need to be here? You know what I'm saying?
And they're dipping.
And they're thinking about doing something else. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not saying it to say like, all right, you got to be maniacal, but low key, bro. If you want to be the best at anything, you got to be maniacal. You got to be insane. You know what I'm saying? Like you have to. There's points in. I'm not saying you give up everything else in your life. I'm not saying you deny your kids, you deny your wife, you deny everything else. But when you have that time on the block, like when you have to condense the time frames, because if you're gonna really work and be in the position to take off the rest of your life, then you gotta work. You basically have to work that 30 years that you would be working and put it in 5 years. Like you gotta work that amount of time and effort and squeeze it down and compress it into 5, 6, 7, so that now you've compressed it. And now when it explodes, it's going to explode freedom for you. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Instead of just trickling your lifestyle in over 30 years, compress that bad boy down. And then what'll happen is you compress that piece of, what is it, coal? You compress that coal, you know what I'm saying? A lifestyle that's like a piece of coal over 30 years. It can just sit there on the, it can just sit on, if a piece of coal is sitting on this table, just sit here. Right.
It'll stay cold.
Right. It'll be cool. It'll be it. And that can be your life after 30 years. It could be just it. Right. But if you put a little bit of pressure and condense it, put some heat on that mug, pressure it in, put it in whatever they can do to compress that mug up. Well, guess what? You might end up with a huge freaking diamond.
Yep.
At the end, they're like, oh, you shine it off, you chop it up, boom, you got a nice little stone right here. But I think there's a lot of fear that goes into that too. It's like, well, people are scared of the unknown. Well, time's gonna go by anyway.
Right.
This time's gonna go by anyway. So, why not do something, man? Like, why not? What's holding you back? Like, I think people like, what's holding you back? Why? How come? It was because of lack of funds. Figure it out. People started with a lot less and gotten a lot further. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
People started with a lot less and have gotten way further. So that's not a problem. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. Mm-hmm. Go inside. What inspires you? What gets you going? And then find something. Find a track to run on, man. Like, I know I kind of went on a crazy little.
Bro, you hit him with it though.
Little tangent.
You hit him with it. You hit him with it. That was good.
Yeah, but dog, man, this is a solid session, dog. This is a solid session, man. I can't wait to get this one out, man. We got we got some guests. We not trying. What am I saying? What am I doing? Hey, Alex, relax, bro. We're not trying anything. We got guests lined up.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? So this is gonna be really, really cool, man. I'm really excited. We talked a little about relationship stuff, so maybe even before Valentine's Day, right after, we can have this. We got a young lady that deals with relationships and relationship coaching and stuff like that. So that'll be kind of interesting. That'll be kind of interesting. Then we got some business folks popping on, man. Yep. Some successful business folks. We got some pretty inspirational people, man, that are gonna be tapping in with us, and we're excited, man, to really take this bad boy into the next level. And we cannot wait to have y'all back, man. And man, smash on that like button, man. Smash on that subscribe, all of that. Please do that. Please share this thing, man. We appreciate all the support, all the love. People all over the place listening, in all different places all over the world, man. We appreciate it, man. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying, 100%. Man? But we got a lot of stuff going on, man. And we can't wait to really get this thing going and get this out to you guys, man. Thomas, what you got for the people, man? Closing message for the people, dog.
Bro, I think you said it, man. And I'll just piggyback off of that. The support and the appreciation is we're grateful for it in any capacity. And we'd love some engagement too, though. We see a lot of likes on the page, but engage. If there's a topic that you'd like, maybe to get our opinion on, or anything you'd like to hear us maybe dive a little bit deeper into, or maybe another entrepreneur that you think might be good on on a trajectory that would be good to kind of share some ideas and concepts and things like that. I think we'd find that we'd love to have that talk as well, with them. So we're looking to grow, we're looking to expand. We can't do it without you guys, but our primary goal and our objective is hopefully that you get a little bit of value from every episode, and understand that as we grow, we want you to grow with us. and we're excited about the journey. And this thing's getting more and more fun, man. And
It's
so,
cool.
yeah, man, stay tuned. And again, we're going to be putting together some maybe some gifts and stuff like that for
Yeah, we
some of
probably
the
should be doing
viewers.
something like that.
Yeah, we've talked about it a little bit. We've got some stuff in the works.
Yeah.
That's for sure. But
This is gonna be cool.
but like,
man.
share, comment, engage. We have an Instagram page, right?
Yeah, man. No pressure, no diamonds podcast, man. Tapping on the Instagram, and I'll put it on the I'll put it in the link somewhere.
We got
on everything.
Spotify, iTunes. Got the Instagram page.
Every platform. I'm gonna tell you right now.
There
every
it is.
platform there is to have a podcast on, it's on it. You know what I'm saying? Go there. No pressure, no diamonds. You will see it. It pops at the top of the list, man. So, check us out, man. We really appreciate it, and man, have fun. Yo, did you get in on that? We'll talk offline, man. But did you get in on that? What was it? That GameStop situation, dog? It was crazy.
I didn't. No,
no,
I didn't. I did not.
Man. Well, shoot. You know what, man? We'll we'll talk about that on the next one. That's
Cool.
that was pretty sick, man. But catch y'all later, man. No pressure,
No
no
diamonds.
diamonds, man. Let's get it.